Shanghai has the largest population in China's capital Beijing. Shanghai is one of the most densely populated places on the planet. While Shanghai is tending to play in favour of Mercedes in previous years, don't rule out the wins of Red Bull or McLaren. Both teams have had repeat success here, and McLaren have been fighting to reclaim their previous glory recently. Making the team go.
Yo, welcome everybody to TCR, Trinity Competitive Racing, and welcome to round number 11 for the Chinese Grand Prix here in the Elite Series. And once again, for Season 17, we're on round 11 of 14, so we're getting down to the wire. A couple more races left to go, and that is when our new point system will come into effect, as we are counting the driver's best 12 races out of the 14. So in the next few races, that formula will pick up, and we'll be counting all the drivers, best 12 out of 14 races to decide the championship. So we'll see how that gets implemented for the first time in the new era of TCR. Although it is myself, Seafreeze, bringing you guys through tonight's proceedings, and I will be joined by Zionical before the qualifying session is over, if all goes well. So y'all ain't stuck with just me, but you are for now. And yeah, we're live on both the YouTube and the Twitch. I encourage you guys to watch on your preferred platform. We're back after an off week, after a really, really exciting finish to the TCR Grand Prix, which was 2 weeks ago at Saudi Arabia in Jeddah. A nail-biting finish down to the end. I encourage you guys to watch the finish to the Elite Series. That was round 10. I think we have a short on it as well, so that's probably one of our recent shorts. But yeah, the TCR Grand Prix returned, and it was a really big race, and a good ending. So we took a week off for it to celebrate, I guess. I know B-Tom probably celebrated a little bit. Maybe not. Probably not. And we're back here for China, which actually linked up perfectly with the real-life Formula 1. They were at China this week, and I will say, they haven't gone to China since 2019 in real life, and they did, I thought, a really good job updating the track. I think they resurfaced it. They put some gravel traps in the last corner, which I'm a big fan of, and just updated it, and I think we should be getting those changes for next game. So that would be cool. But I always liked China. I thought the track always provides good racing, and I think we'll see some of that, here tonight. But I know a lot of us probably didn't watch China because it was 3 a.m. For most of us. Unless you're on the West Coast, you might have got a preferred time zone for a little bit. But I thought the racing there was quite good throughout. They had some good battles. Specifically, Magnussen and Stroll had a really good one. I know it was outside the points and all, but they were battling for almost the entire lap. So, I think once the field is more closer together, it does resemble some good racing. So I've always been a fan of it, and this is the first time we're racing it as a points race in quite some time as well. I'm pretty sure we did the All-Star race here a few seasons ago, but it's probably been, I'm not sure the last time we raced here, but maybe season 12 or 13, I'm not too sure. Maybe that's the fun fact, if anybody knows. I know maybe somebody's watching who knows some TCR stats. Go look that up for me. Or when Zionicle gets in here, we'll ask him that. We got a couple familiar faces here tonight. Beaton, the winner of last Grand Prix, 3-time winner of the TCR Grand Prix, returned and had a really good finish last time out. He returns here today in his Williams. Lawrence, usual suspect, dealing with a lot of computer issues, which might have costed him the chance of a win at the GP. He returns here tonight. And we might have just gotten word that we might have received our co-commentator in the booth. Mr. Zionicle has joined us. We'll give him a minute to get settled, but we're going to be joined by our Season 16 Silver Class champion and my usual co-commentator the last few times out, Zionicle. Welcome.
I'm excited. China's one of my favorite tracks. I'm excited to see how everybody handles it, and we just got to see the F1 race here, so definitely feeling familiar.
Yeah, I was just going over before you joined about the real Grand Prix versus us going here. I thought they did a good job on the updates of in real life. The track looked good racing for some battles.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, honestly. I think it was unfortunate that Red Bull were so fast compared to everybody else, but the rest of the field was pretty fun to watch. The Seafreeze, have you sent me an invite?
Oh no, here, let me get that for you.
I just wanted to double check because I was like, there's a chance I just cleared it on accident when I clicked in.
There you go. Just a little shout out to someone I didn't think was gonna be making an appearance this season, but we got any weed.
Oh!
Look at this, a returnee. Yeah. Good to see him back. He's reserving in the McLaren tonight. I did not know he was racing tonight, but good for him to get in the seat.
Good to see you.
He's your what would that be? When did he win the Golden Championship? Season 15, I think. 15, yeah.
All right, I'm in now. Let's go. I'm excited. So most everybody except for Professional and Forza have put in their first lap, and Ryan Newton with a really, really good lap, it seems.
And he's been quick too, Ryan Newton. I think he got a podium back in Imola, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think he's generally performed quite well whenever he's raced.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how Forza comes out here. I don't think it's his favorite track per se, though, so Ryan could be in a spot to take pole here. We'll have to see. Another person I'm really interested to see how they do with how I don't know if you just saw B-Tom pull a Vettel on Fluka going into the pits just now. That was funny.
You know, every time I go through the pit lane here, I always think of that. And I've actually done it. I've actually done it myself in a league race, so I feel like a lot of people try to implement that, and specifically here too.
Yeah, it is funny how it it just results in, like, this track seeing a lot of it. Like, you'd think in general maybe it would port to some other tracks, but I swear it's just whenever you get to China, everybody gets a little cheeky going into the pit lane.
And Forzan was good enough for P4, so he slots onto the second row of the grid, although I know he wants more than that. Remsley, good to see him out on the grid. He's going to be crossing line to improve, and he goes onto the second row of the grid for the time being. Bats Plus is reserving here tonight. He missed the Jeep. No, he wasn't a GP. He didn't have the best GP, though.
No, it was unfortunate. He crashed in the first heat, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
right? So, rough start for him, and just tough to make up those positions. But yeah, Ryan Newton's still sitting up top pretty comfortably. But of course, we still got some crucial laps left, and I'm sure we're going to see some improvement from P2 to P5. And what I was going to say is I'm really excited to see how Jose is going to perform. He's really started to, as we've gotten deep into the season, push himself into that top group, competing for a win almost every week. So we've got a lot of the top competitors this season all racing tonight, even though it's a smaller field compared to some of our races this year. A lot of the top guys are still here, so I'm excited.
Yeah, and you know what I've realized, and most of these qualifyings the last few weeks, both Mercedes are hard to get a lap on the board. It almost feels like they're always waiting to the last run to put a lap on the board, as Newton improves his time to 30.1, which is 0.6 clear of a 5-time champion.
Wow, this is quite impressive. I saw in the chat earlier Ryan Newton was making fun of Lawrence a bit, and I was like, okay, it's fun to talk on Lawrence, but once you get into the race, that's a little tough. But hey, if he's got this pace, talk all you want.
And also, just a quick little shout out to F1 Nerd of reserving here tonight. He's the championship leader in the Challenger Series. Won last night, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, very comfortably.
Yeah.
Once it got to the rain, he was crushing.
So he's reserving here tonight, and ironically, he's right behind some guy who's reserving here tonight. His schedule is conflicting a little bit with him attending on Tuesdays, so that is kind of maybe why the championship lead has changed. He hasn't been able to show up, although that's kind of upsetting it. He wasn't able to show up as much. Although we do got the dropouts, so we'll see how that kicks in. If he can continue to show to maybe a couple more, as we close the season off. Once that best 12 of 14 kicks in, we'll see how that championship is. So I wouldn't say it's over, but if we were counting it the old way, where we counted every race, then I would say it's pretty difficult. But both of them are here on the grid tonight.
Yeah, and a lot of the drivers were definitely talking about being scared of it being a rainy race tonight. I think F1 Nerd is one guy who's hoping it gets a little wet. He is definitely, I think, one of those drivers who just excels whenever there's a bit of rain. And on a track like this where it's so easy to make a mistake in the wet, I think he'd feel pretty good about his chances if it stays there. Or if it does get wet, pardon me. And Lawrence with a 130.5.
Yeah. Yeah, he cut that deficit a little bit, but still quite the margin. But everyone should have another lap in them to close the session. We see Jose here, who did set a lap time, only good enough for 11th, but he's going to give his teammate a big slipstream down the backstretch, who does not have a lap on the board. So get a good exit out of the hairpin. I love that hairpin. It's just quite fun, actually.
Yeah, it's such a challenge. It really is, because I swear I always feel so good. I get a decent lap going. I feel good about it, and I'm like, oh, all that's left is the hairpin, and then I just lose the rear on the head, and it's like, oh god, this is just, of course.
B-Tom gets Lawrence barely 200ths over that, so he's up onto the front row. And Remsley had a nice time. He's up to 4th. Bats into 5th. They jumped Forzan, who was coming out for his final run.
I do think this could be, and it is tough to, certainly tough to break DRS in this game, but this is not the worst track to do it. And I think what just happened to Lawrence? Did Lawrence just retire? Or?
Yeah, I think he's all set. I don't know if there was enough time for him to go out, because he was kind of coming in from his last run, so yeah, he wouldn't have had time to. And Newton as well. Newton is not going to set a better lap time than that. So we'll see if anyone else can dethrone him.
Yeah, and I think B-Tom's all done as well. So I think it's going to be Remsley, Bats, and Forzan who are.
And I'd look out for Silent or Jose. You never know if they hook one up.
Yeah, they are surprisingly low at the moment, but the field's really tight past the number 4 spot, so they could make a lot of progress with the solid lap here.
The only thing I say is usually when you have a lap time, at this part of the qualifying session, not really where you want it to be, the chances of them improving so much to get pole is kind of difficult to do. Because from a 31.4 all the way to a 30.1 or better is, over a second. So you kind of usually use your previous runs as a benchmark, and every lap you try to improve. So when you're that far off and you don't really get those laps in the beginning of the session, it tends to hurt your session overall. But that doesn't mean you can't put a great lap in at the end. It's just a lot harder to do so.
No, and definitely these guys are gonna maybe feel the pressure of not having a lap where they would typically expect. That's another factor that does make it a little harder when you're at the end of the session. The pressure is on to both keep it on the track but to improve. So it's a unique spot to be in, but I think these guys could definitely move up a few spots pretty easily here.
Well, the checkered flag is out, so we'll see a few more drivers on their laps. I'm watching Silent right now, sitting a purple middle sector, so he's proven everything that I'm saying wrong, which is usually the case. I don't know nothing.
Well, it could be interesting if he has a good third sector, and I will say it's going to be a bit of a balance because he normally runs quite low downforce, so the straight's going to help him, but the hairpin might be quite difficult. We'll see how it looks.
Hits it quite nicely. Let's look at the exit. Flat, nice. Not much wheel
spin. Not bad at all.
And the last corner is always, you never know how much to take. You could gain and lose so much, but it's valid.
Could be P2. Oh, P4, just
and
barely
off. And Forzan up to 5th, so right behind his teammate.
Wow! 1,000th between Silent and Forzan for P4. Wow. That's crazy.
We got Remsley still and Jose. Will they be able to improve at all? We'll see. Remsley first in the Alpine. He's P6 currently. He will stay P6. And Jose, I think, maybe bumped up a position. But that's going to be Ryan Newton for pole position.
And he did look to have the best pace the whole way through. It's going to be interesting. Turn 1's going to be big. Certainly doesn't want to pull Lando Norris here coming into turn 1 when he's got the pace to set the pace, per se, from out front. Because if B-Tom or Lawrence are able to get that nose ahead, could definitely throw a wrench in things for him. We'll have to see, though. I will say, I for one am certainly hoping for some rain. Now that I'm not racing it, I'd love to see some rain. If I was out there, I'd be dreading it. But watching it from up here, I think it can only make me a bit more excited about the race.
Yeah, I would have actually liked to race this one, and it looks like it's gonna start sunny. I just didn't have the time to really get the laps in, but man, it's a fun one.
It really is. I was also thinking about racing this one. Okay, and I've got the Ferrari because I did the thing. Okay, so we will go on the softs and take it home from last time and get the traditional unique camera point of view. So I can let everybody know what's going on. Okay.
Now, let me see if I have the championship standings. I'll kind of go through them briefly. Although if you're watching, the best way to get those standings is in our Discord. There's a link in the description of the YouTube, and you can have access to stewards' decisions, announcements, links and point of views of other drivers when they share it, and the points. So we're most active in Discord. So if you want to keep up with anything TCR related, join us on Discord. You can also go to our website and fill out an application. You can still join us if you want to get in the last few races as we wind down on F123. But the current standings are as followed. It is Forzan for the Drivers' Championship, 176. Lawrence in second with 130. B-Tom with 117. Remsley 82. Professional in fifth at 75. GT 73. And Jose in seventh with 72. Surprisingly enough, Silence all the way down at ninth with 58. Ninth actually with 58. Beamer's in eighth with 59. So he has had a lot of DNFs or
Professional
no-shows.
Being above Jose is certainly something that I wouldn't have guessed from the from not having the standings on hand. But I guess Professional is just very consistent, and he's had some good races, to be clear. Just maybe not the peaks that Jose's had this season so far, but also not the lows.
And then for the constructors, we got the team of Forzan and Silent at 234 in the Alfa Romeos. And second, we got 155 for the team of Alpine. That's GT and Remsley. Mercedes at 147. That's Professional and Jose. And then there's a big drop off to Red Bull, which is 36 points. FND and KD. KD is not here tonight, and he did miss a few in the previous races. So.
And trying to look at the tires we've got everybody on, and it's going to be at the front. I actually can't see because of everybody's getting ready signs, but it looks like a lot of mediums and hards, not really any softs. Kluka going to be the only person starting on the softs.
Oh, we can finally start going. That was a long hold. Everybody was fixing their stuff, but Alright. That means we're on the formation lap. This is prediction time. Zyonic, I'll let you go first.
Well, I think I'm going to keep it safe. I'm going to say Ryan Newton gets the win here. I'll say that B-Tom gets P2. And I think that Forzan gets P3. I think Lawrence is just going to miss out on a podium here.
Interesting.
What do you think, it's Freeze?
I don't know. I could really go any way. I don't know. I kind of like this alternate strategy from B-Tom, the hard tire starting on. He won, last week out, 2 weeks ago at the GP, and you know what? Even though he's been reserved, he has been showing up more recently, and I think he's got all the rust off. And I think him qualifying on the front row, you know, this alternate strategy, I think he might get the win again today. I think he'll have the pace, more or less. I'm going to put Lawrence P2. And you know what? I think Remsley has been quick, and, you know, we're going to put him P3. Although, to be honest, the top 10, you could really put anybody on the podium.
Yeah, I was really thinking about giving Remsley a podium. He's always got the pace to get up there. But yeah, it'll be interesting. F1 Nerd went off trying to warm up the tires into the grass, catching up to the pack now. But yeah, pulling up to the grid. Everybody about to get parked and ready to go. And I just heard the call for rain in 15 minutes.
Oh boy. 5 red lights for the Chinese Grand Prix, round number 11. It's China time. Let's go racing. And Newton gets a good start. Lawrence gets B-Tom, as does Silent, although he's going around the outside. And I think B-Tom will have him cleared. There might be contact, and there is. More contact with the Alfa Romeo of Silent. And this is going to bottleneck them all up to the hairpin in turn number 6. Forzan taking the position on his teammate.
And Kluk is off at the back, unfortunately. I think he might have gotten turned around coming out of that first sequence of turns.
It could have been that hard tire where it just didn't, you know, launch as much as B-Tom wanted. Lawrence got the go-ahead and was under pressure from Silent, although the contact ruined his momentum. So B-Tom, that's what allowed him to stay into third. Forzan, now the lead Alfa Romeo. We'll see if anyone picked up any damage from that, but it looks clean to me as we go onto the backstretch. And man, the straight line speed of these Alfa Romeos are crazy. Forzan, we're going 3 wide already. It is Forzan, Silent, and B-Tom. B-Tom has 0 straight line speed. Or maybe he had a bad exit, but let's go on board. Bats is getting overtaken now by Remsley. Very much the minimum of space required. Bats did not want to give any more than he had to. He knows that rule book. The car's width is a car's width, and he gave him a car's width.
Okay. And Lawrence doing his best to keep up with Newton at the beginning. Although he does he have the... No, he's got the same tire, so doing quite well. Although he is 46% on the battery already. Newton really does look like he's got some good pace today.
Yeah, I think he's just using a little bit just to make sure he gets to that DRS point, and then he can start to conserve. But he might need to use a little bit here to get it just a little bit closer for next lap when he's got that DRS. But a 2.5 second gap, between the second and third. Forzan will take it over.
It's going to be tough for Lawrence, because unfortunately not quite updated to the real life regulations yet. They would have had DRS a bit earlier.
Right.
But he's going to have to fight to get this back under a second, already up to 1.1.
Yeah, next game it'll be after 2 laps you'll get it, the DRS, which is good, I guess.
And I will say, we've got quite a few teammates racing together. The McLarens, the Haas's, the Mercedes, and the Alfa Romeos all right next to each other.
We just need GT to pass these two Mercedes, or maybe Remsley to go down too, and then you'll have the Alpines together. We'll see how we get on the backstretch. Now we got the DRS.
And I will say, from 5 to 2, they are emptying the DRS. The highest we've got is Forzan sitting at 40. Bats down in 6th at 65. And Remsley at 80 still. So those two in the DRS train still, and they've got some good battery. They'll be feeling good. But 3 to 5 all running similar batteries, seemingly similar pace, so it won't be too big of a problem.
And the gap did break out up in front, so Newton 1.7 now the gap. And he's got half a tank of batteries, so he definitely has the speed for now. We'll see how he goes throughout the race. This just might be one of his tracks.
Definitely, and that's what he needed. He needed a good start to get out in front and break that DRS, and now he can control his own race here, which was very important. It'll be interesting. I think maybe the wet might be the only thing that can get in the way of a comfortable race out front.
And you know what? That might explain why BTOM might have higher downforce. If the rain is supposed to stick with us for the rest of the race, maybe that was done intentionally.
Yeah, and
as Jose gets past
a yellow
professional.
sector 2. Didn't see what that was for, but yeah, big gap forming between Jose and the Alpine of Remsley. 3 to 7 definitely separating themselves a bit in the grid. But another little train from 8 to 11 as well.
Yeah, Bats is very close to BTOM.
Really
just having a look, but I don't think he's actually gonna. He's just peeking, and that's all he's gonna do. You see the clouds starting to roll in far straight ahead. And that's going to put a nice wrench into the race, because we do have, China is one of those technical tracks, and it's also setup dependent. So it is a place where you can drive away, like Newton is, like Lawrence has a gap. The gaps form here because of the technical, track and the layout, which I preferred. I think that's why I like the track. It's not so much everybody sticking onto each other. You can't drive away, so to speak.
Definitely, and China, I find, is definitely a track with those extended sequences of corners that you'll get a lot of unique lines. People take different approaches, and in the wet, that could just get exacerbated even more. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting, especially for these groups that are close together, how they approach these corners differently, how their lines change as we get into the wet, if it does come anytime soon. And honestly, how BTOM's gamble to go on the hards will pay off versus the rest of this pack that he's in.
Yeah, because if the rain comes deeper into the race, the hards will start to, be the favorite for just a little bit. And that might allow them to get to the that window as a very close. BTOM might have tapped the back of Silent, and he's going to have Remsley and Bats just very close behind, looking for moves, but they stay in the order. And maybe the reason for the gap behind Remsley to Jose is because they are on the difference in tire. So it's actually kind of cool that BTOM has the pace to stick with these drivers on the mediums, as Remsley looked down the inside, but now he'll have the outside for the next corner, and that is favorited to Bats, and he keeps in position. But you can have a nice run. Does he send it down the hairpin? No.
And these hairpins, both this one and the one in the last sector, are getting scary. It's just gonna get tighter at the end too. We've already had a couple close calls with some lockups into them. Getting a little worried somebody might take somebody out. Trying to make an aggressive move. We'll see though. That's what separates the men from the boys at this track.
Yeah, lots of these drivers love to stick right behind the gearbox and brake so close into the braking zones. I can't brake that close personally. I need some space.
Oh no, yeah, I'm all about trying to hang in that like 5 to 9/10 range.
Right.
My worst fear is just barely missing my braking point and just punting somebody in the back. Oh! And Bats really does go for it.
Oh, I love that. That was a good move. There might have been a little bit of contact there, but
I think Bats may have gotten it. I'm actually curious, is that...
Tom goes defensive on Remsley. Remsley around the outside into one. This will get nice and close.
Whoa! Oh! And they both keep it straight, but whew, that was close. And what I've noticed is Forzan actually getting very close to Lawrence, almost back in the DRS. Maybe Lawrence burned those tires a bit much. His rear is sliding all over the place in the hairpins. I think he may have pushed it a bit too hard trying to keep up with Newton early in this stint.
And he's bringing everybody with him. So this is all a battle for P2. As Bats hits the grass, he goes off track, gets a bad exit.
Wow.
And Remsley might even...
going to get him. Remsley might get him as well. He plays it safe. And this could be interesting. Now B-Tom at the front of this group. And Bats is going to get him right back with this DRS. It'll be interesting if...
Remsley should get two
if
here.
Remsley could as well.
Yeah, double slipstream for a little bit. He's going to go
3 wide.
To the inside. Here we go, baby. 3 wide.
And B-Tom knows what's best for him. He's going to just...
He's going to do the undercut. He's going to get both of them. Watch.
Oh!
He almost did. He almost did.
Too.
But he had the wheel spin there. But I knew exactly what he was setting up for.
Oh my goodness! And Remsley almost pulls a Carlos Sainz out of the last corner.
Or did he let him by, or did he have a big mistake?
I honestly couldn't tell if he got an illegal overtake somehow. I don't know where he would have though, but that could have been it. It looked like he lost it and spun it to the inside a bit too far, but I don't know. That could have been it. Either way, though, that's
wiggle
a nice
out of B-Tom.
Yeah, B-Tom, Bats, and Remsley, those tires are struggling.
Oh, big opposite lock. Remsley goes right on by.
And this is going to certainly do its work to break up the DRS train. In just about a lap and a half, we've seen almost everybody get out of DRS of each other, while Forzan has broken right back into the DRS of Lawrence.
Yeah, and he didn't bring Silent with him. Silent must have had an issue where he's very low in the battery, so he was not able to stick with Forzan. But he still sees him, so 2 seconds he'll have to work on. I think after the pit stop, he'll have to manage his battery just a little bit more.
Yeah, and he is in a position where he is free to burn that battery. Silent 2.5 seconds behind him, and he'll be in comms. They'll probably know. He'll probably not mind Silent knowing that he's low on DRS or ERS. And yeah, the Forzan in a good spot. Seems like he's managed the tires a lot better than the guys who were around him in that DRS train. Will he be able to send it down the inside here? He's going to play it safe.
Yeah, he took off the throttle, which is fine. He didn't want to go for the move.
And that first corner is really scary. We saw it this weekend. You can lose it in a second when you're going side by side and really ruin two people's race, if not just your own. And Bats right on Remsley's back. Remsley trying to get back in the DRS of Silent. B-Tom still in striking distance, but the rear locks are plaguing B-Tom at the moment.
Yeah, it could be a setup issue or something, because you could even get, you know, pretty bad tire temp issues here too if you don't got something right on your car.
Yeah, everybody seems to be struggling with the tires, and it is early in the stint. We started seeing this on lap 7, and they're going to be one of taking these mediums to at least lap 12 or 13. So it's maybe even longer if that rain's coming soon. It is getting more and more cloudy, but we haven't seen the first signs yet. Probably still a few laps out from that.
Forzan was in the DRS but did not get the move done, although he does have a good shot at getting it into turn 1 if he wants it.
He gets a good exit here. He probably will. It'll be close. I wonder if he'll go for it. It's tight.
Again, he lets off.
Remsley right on silent now. Remsley definitely seeming to maybe have managed his tires and battery the second best of this group of from 2 to 7. Certainly not perfect on the tires. We've seen some moments from him, but he's caught right back up to silent now and could have a shot of overtaking him on the back straight.
And I know in previous games, I really can't speak to this one on this specific track, but for my memory, the battery usage at China, like once you use your battery, it's really hard to get it back.
Certainly seems like it.
Yeah, and that's why I'm bringing it up, because a lot of these drivers, wasted it in the first 10 laps, and I'm not really seeing the recovery of that battery so much. So we'll see how the pit stops go, but it doesn't seem like they're recovering much out on track, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I do wonder if Forzan maybe should have been a bit more aggressive in trying to send it on one of these laps. He seems pretty confident or pretty content to run it with Lawrence, but he seemed a bit faster to me in the lead up to him getting in that DRS. Maybe could have kept the gap a bit smaller than it is to Newton. As of now, he'd need a huge mistake to get back within striking distance of Newton, even with the wet incoming. And Remsley was able to get past Silent on that lap, so we'll see if he's got the pace to close that gap to Forzan.
He's looking good here today. Up to P4. I'd say right around now is when the hards should start to kick in. Maybe another few laps, right? Maybe for the mediums, a couple more laps, and then they're pretty much, they looked already dead to me, but now I think you're really going to start to see it. And I don't see any drops out there, so, it is cloudy. You got cloud coverage, but...
Yeah, still probably a couple more laps, it feels like. And, yeah... I would say that, but B-Tom, say he's actually coming pretty close to him now, but B-Tom, the highest placing hard runner right now, has definitely got some dag on the rear at the moment, so I don't know how his hards are even going to be holding up. I'd imagine they are quite overheated. So it'll be interesting if he does get a notable advantage with the tires. As of now, that gap to Bats has been staying put in that 1.5 to 2 second range.
Yeah, that's the group right behind him. We got Jose and Professional, GTR Lion, and good job by Camden to stay in the DRS with these drivers to try and get some points for Haas. As there's a move up in the front here. Forzan does go for the move into one, and he does get Lawrence. And we got some raindrops now, so here comes the fun part.
And here's where the strategy comes into play. Will they come in this lap? Will they come in next lap? This is where pretty much everybody from P5 to P11 can make or break their race here if they make the right call. Going to be interesting.
And we already have a driver.
Start coming down.
We have F&D already on the inters, so when you're in the back like that, you got to do something different, right? So We'll see how these inners are. I can't imagine they're going to be good right this second.
Yeah, I gotta imagine that's a bit early. But maybe if it starts coming down fast, it won't be too early for it to overheat him too bad.
Little overkill, FND. You saw some raindrops, and you got the poncho and the rain boots and the and the umbrella out. It might be, you know, you could have just used a hoodie, maybe.
Yeah, you got the hurricane gear out already, and it's just a light drizzle. Calm down.
Like, we're at the point when you're in the car, you don't even need the wipers on, right? You know, you just not yet.
And Lawrence swaps back with Forzan. These two definitely seeming like they're pretty even on pace. Very content to just swap around, play this DRS game, keep the gap to Remsley where it is, keep him at arm's distance, maybe.
Remsley first of the big hitters coming in.
Okay. He's playing it risky. He wants to make those positions up. There's a chance that it could be right on that line right now. He's going to need it to start coming down hard soon, though.
And Professional also follows him in, and he knows he has to pit now because otherwise he would have got double stacked and lost more time. So he's like, you know, I'm not going to wait till 14, otherwise I'd have to wait till 15 because he was behind his teammate of Jose.
Thankfully, he is just going to come out in front of Gaudini Weeb and some guy. That definitely could have messed with his strategy if he had been out a second or two later.
Yeah.
So, well timed by Remsley.
One nerd having a bunch of wheel spin on those dry tires. You just got to tiptoe at this point. You start to see some puddles. I think this lap will be the one.
I think Newton is certainly going to come in with this 11-second gap. The rain's coming off the tires. The mist is evident. I don't think he's going to want to drive on these slicks in the wet any longer than he needs to. He does stay out. He stays out another lap. I hope it doesn't come down too hard.
11.5. What do these two do? Forzan
stays
out. They both go on.
Stays out as well. Okay. They don't look like they're totally struggling. I wonder if it could get out of control faster than they expect. Bats does come in.
I'm surprised with such a big lead that Newton has that he doesn't just come in and put tires on. You know, why risk it, right? But
yeah,
I mean, he might know exactly when to pit, right? So I guess, you know, let him do what he's got to do.
And DRS has just been disabled, so yeah, it would not have been a bad lap to pit, I don't think. But I think he'll also be fine to pit this lap. Certainly, he will have to be coming in this lap. And yeah, you can already see he's doing admirably, I think, to keep it under control. But you can see he is very light on the throttle through this Serpentine Sector 2. Oh, and that's why it's scary to risk it. Some oversteer out of the corner, and he almost had a bit of an incident. I bet he'll play it safe for the rest of the lap. Now, yeah, very, very light on the throttle in Sector 3 now. Oh my goodness! This is hairy.
Wow. And he pretty much locked up every tire he had to get that slowed down in the hairpin.
And I think Remsley could come out of this in a very good spot. I think he may have pit at the perfect time if he put in 2 decent laps here. And he's draining that battery. He wants to make sure he's coming out in the right spot. All about the track position for him.
Here comes the rest of the gang into the pit lane.
And yep, that's going to be the 5.
Whoa,
really?
Oh, beat Tom. Man, at Old China, he would have been in the gravel trap. I'm on board with Remsley. He's going to clear all these guys. He's going to be P2.
This is going to be an effortless P2 for Remsley. Remsley in a spot where if he can manage his tires, he can manage this race to a podium.
And Bats as well gets up onto the podium right now. He's into 3rd. after that great strategy call.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see Newton's pace. I think he'll still be very comfortable in first, but that gap went down from 12 seconds to 6 seconds through this pit sequence. So Remsley definitely pitted at the right time if he can keep these tires alive. And his battery in a very good spot as well. Although Lawrence and Forzan did manage to recharge quite a bit in those last couple laps before pitting.
Yeah, I mean, that was just perfect timing by Remsley and Bax to get up and pit and, you know, get themselves up to the podium is great. Undercutting Forzan and Lawrence. Silent lost a lot for that, too, because remember, he was farther back than Forzan and Lawrence, so he's out in 10th, and B-Tom in 11th, so they really are.
And look who has played himself into a position to fight at the top once again. Jose, just a second behind Lawrence, who is a second behind Forzan himself. So he's back up with the big dogs in a good position once again.
Got GT Professional having a little battle here into the hairpin. Lots of experience between the two. And he's going to get an over-under on him. I think he'll be able to take it. Good move there from GT.
And yeah, GT and Professional, definitely a fun battle to look out for. Those two guys close in the drivers and the constructors. So every point there are going to be valuable. And what I'm really interested to see is how are the overtakes going to be in the wet? How courageous will these guys be? How will the opportunities be? The grip is going to be tough coming out of the corners, the low-speed corners. It already was in the dry.
Oh, Professional goes deep, and Camden should have the traction, and he gets the position. So sometimes that is, you know, how you make overtakes move, you know, in the rain, is just wait for those mistakes and pick them up.
And that's P8 for Camden now. Very, very solid race from him so far.
And here comes Silent on Professional as well. It'll look pretty easy. And that's usually a position where, you know, of the track you don't usually see moves, but I think with the rain, it opens up different corners that you normally wouldn't see overtakes in. If we were in dry conditions.
And B-Tom down in P11, another victim of the late pit not being the strategy here that it clearly did. But Bats and Forzan both eating into that gap to Remsley. I wonder if their pace will be a bit too much for him to handle. Not evaporating per se, but it is slowly coming down.
And you know what? I'm pretty surprised, and you know what? I'm gonna say it because, you know, why not? 17 laps into this race, and we don't have any retirements. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
There's a few corners at China where it can be very easy to lose the car, and you could have a DNF and a safety car, even though the walls are, you know, pretty far off.
Yeah, no, there are definitely a couple specific corners where it could happen, especially in the wet. So yeah, quite a great race, I would say, in terms of the driving standards here. No real incidents to speak of so far, and you know, just hope we can keep that true for the last 10 laps.
B-Tom around the outside on Camden. He'll be up to 9th, and there we go. The first retirement of a safety car. Commentator's curse comes right in. You can thank and bill Seafreeze for that one.
And Bats is backing up Forzan right now. It's a bit odd. And
He might have
Remsley
a
going
delta.
into the pits.
Oh.
Interesting strategy here from Remsley. I wonder if it's supposed to get wetter or if it's supposed to get drier. Remsley and Lawrence, though, going for the odd strategy here. On to the mediums.
And Lawrence on the softs.
I was thinking the softs could be the move. It's just tough for me to imagine the mediums getting the grip that needs to occur. It still feels like it's coming down. This track's still awfully greasy.
B-Tom on the softs, Professional on the mediums. They know something we don't.
They must know something. They must know something. But I will say, those times your engineer gives you can be awfully inaccurate sometimes. So
F1
they're
Nerd
gonna
pitted,
need to hope.
and he put on the inters.
Ooh.
And here comes Godany Weeb. He's been out of action in TCR for a little bit, but he puts the softs on.
Ooh. Boy, this will be interesting. Well, I will say, if this track dries up, that's one way that this race could leave Newton's control for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be an unfortunate way for it to happen, but I still think with how the weather looks at the moment and how little time we've got left,
We got
It's
a lot
hard
of
for me
field
to
spread, though,
imagine.
so we're going to have 3-4 laps under the safety car.
yeah, we do have a few more laps that we're going to be waiting.
So
It's going to need to stop raining in those next few laps, though, because we know this track's not going to dry super quickly. It's been coming down for a second, and it's not pouring, but we've had some solid rain for a bit.
Newton is going to pit this lap. Bats will
Newton
stay
is
out.
going to pit. This is going to be interesting. Will he come out in first? And Bats is the only one to stay out. Bats could gain a lot here if it does stay in the wets. This is very interesting.
Double stack for Silent.
And Newton's going to come out in P4 behind the 3 Inter runners. Still very safe relative to the people on the same strat as him. I think... yeah, that Forzan is going to come out right behind him, though, on those softs.
And
I
Remsley somehow lost position to Jose in that pit sequence.
I think it was... I don't know if he disconnected for a bit or something happened, but I saw just out of the Sector 3 hairpin, he was going very slow, and I think it was slow enough for Jose to get the prompt to pass him under a safety car. Very interesting, though. I really have to know what happens, and I will say, Seafreeze, I don't see the rain coming down anymore.
Yeah, no, it's gonna dry up real quick.
And this has put Bats, GT, and Camden in a very rough spot.
Usually when the safety car comes out, you really do have to, be as close to the delta as possible. And then once the delta's gone, you gotta hot lap it. Like, if you don't have a delta under the safety car, you gotta go at your full speed.
Yeah, in this game, very aggressive on the on the suggestions to pass the car in front of you under safety car. You've got to be vigilant.
And because everyone else really pitted too in that time period, there's no big advantages now for those who pitted one lap, before or after. The only thing is these drivers up front, as Camden's going to abort. He's going to come into the pit lane, and now there'll be 2 out in front.
Yeah, and Camden's definitely going to be dropping down to P12, it looks like. So that's unfortunate. Not an impossible spot to score points from. Obviously, the field's going to be bunched, but definitely unfortunate for those guys at the front. If it would have just rained a few more laps, it could have been a borderline decision, but I think it's going to be pretty straightforward that these softs are the best tire here.
And I'm pretty sure we've seen it once before this season, earlier on, in one of these strategy calls when it goes wet to dry or dry to wet. Bats Plus is one of the most stubborn drivers we have, because when he sticks to a strategy, he sticks to it until he loses everything, and then he'll pit. And I think he knows right now he's screwed, in most simple terms. But he's gonna, if he pits now, he knows he's going to the end of the line, because Camden's out in 10th. So he can't do that, you know. So he's got the track position now. I know he's gonna go back green under these inners and see how it'll go.
And the safety car in this lap. Professional. No, he should be able to catch up. Still plenty of time in this lap for him to catch up. Definitely Kluka not going to be able to make it, I don't think, to this group. Unless we get a late start, I suppose he could. It's going to be tough, though. He's going to have to certainly put in some speed here.
And this is the first time we have drivers right on the back door of Newton. So will Forzan put some pressure on Newton? Will Remsley or Lawrence be able to try and overtake him? Newton's the lead soft runner, but he's got drivers right on his, right on his front porch, or back porch, depending which way they went.
And Bats and GTR are going to control a lot about this restart. They're on the alternate tire. We don't know if they'll be faster or slower right now, but it'll be interesting. It's all about how quickly Newton will be able to get by them, or if he can stay with them until that crossover point happens.
And Bats can go at any point now because safety car is in the pit lane, and he's gonna go now out of the hairpin. Good call. We are back green, lap 21 of 28 here for the Elite Series.
And I think
round
GTR might
11.
accept his fate here.
Yeah, he's going to let Newton go on by. Forzan will try and follow. He's going to send it down the inside. GT will give it the room. His teammate will go on by. Hit Remsley up to 4th. So, let's see. Newton trying to get past Bats.
But he keeps it under control, and oh, that is a nice move. I like that. I like that a lot. And yeah, Newton really is just able, especially considering that the track's still a bit greasy, he's really able to get that front to lean in without going too hard. But, oh, a bit of a moment.
Forzan should be able to get Bats after him having not the best exit. Those tires are not it right now. He's going to have to pit.
Yeah, GTR already down to 8th. It's a struggle on those inters. There's no doubt about it.
But we'll see who's got these tires, who's got the setup, who's got the speed, as we have F&D around. Going a little 360 action, maybe more. Nope, he's good. And Bats will pit, GT will follow, F1 Nerd somehow staying out on the inters.
That is interesting.
Unless he's not actually on the inters and we have a glitch, but I wouldn't be. No, it looks like he's on the inters.
Yeah, it does look like he is on the inters.
Alright, 1.3 seconds the gap. 1.2 now. Let's see, does Forzan have anything for Ryan Newton? Does Remsley or Silent? Let's see what they got going.
And wait,
here.
How did Lawrence get down so low? He must have locked up somewhere, right? He was right behind Remsley.
Yeah, you're right. We missed that.
And B-Tom goes very wide as well. He loses a bit of pace to Silent. will say it'll probably be helped by the track temperature being a little lower here, but these softs are going to burn up quick. We saw how quickly the mediums were gone in that first stint. They were struggling after that 8 to 9 lap mark, and they're going to have to run about 9 laps on the soft, 9-10 laps on the softs here. So Remsley could be in a decent spot by the end of the stint. And F1 Nerd finally biting the bullet, had to come in.
Got any weave? That's a battle I didn't think I'd see today. It's a big send. It's cool to see Got Any Weave up inside the points. I know when you take some time, well, I don't know if he's raced in other leagues or if he's been active on the game at all, but it's definitely hard to get back into the rhythm once you've had a long hiatus.
Yeah, and he's in a good position to hold it. He should be able to just cruise home and get a point here. Bat's probably a bit faster, but 13 points in 5 laps is an awfully difficult task.
Professional up to 6, he gets Camden, who's had a really good Grand Prix.
And this group of Camden, Professional, and Jose have been having some awfully good racing all day. These guys have been tight. And Silent gets past Remsley on the front straight.
Camden trying to go back on Professional around the outside. And he'll have the inside, but Professional should have a little bit more of the edge here. Yeah, he's going to keep it.
And it's going to be tough. Remsley's going to need to stay in that DRS. I think towards the end of the stint, the mediums may be better, but the soft's definitely ideal at the moment.
And I will say, I didn't expect there to be this much of gaps here at China between some of the ones who we usually do see in
well, I will say,
the lines together.
Silent and Remsley have gotten right back into the DRS of Forzan, so we could have quite a fight for P2 here.
Camden getting past Professional again. It's just usually the pretty much this top 9 or the top 10 who qualified top 10. They usually are always the same in that same group, but I guess with strategy and setup, track dependent, that's the reason why we had a little bit more gaps within that group that's usually together. But.
Yeah, definitely. And then Bat's a victim of the strategy choice, and Lawrence, I think, must have locked up somewhere and lost quite a few positions on this last stint, which took him out of that battle with the front. He probably would have been up with Forzan, Remsley, and Silent at the moment. And B-Tom just been a little bit off the pace of those guys this race. Not bad pace for sure, but he's been sort of in no man's land for most of this race, in between those two groups.
Good to see Apparatus in the comments. Thanks for tuning in. Speedy's said he's going for Camden and some guy that he's supporting them. Chabar says B-Tom washed ? You can't really say yeah because
I think you got to rewatch last week.
Yeah, you got to watch back Saudi Arabia.
Or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. You can't really be washed after one race.
It's going to be really important where the battery's at in these last 3 laps in this group. And, oh, Remsley going for a awfully ballsy move there. That's tough to keep it straight when you're going in that low out of the corner, though. And, yeah, he's not able to retain that grip. And Silent going to send it down the middle.
Wow.
Good racing, though. But he's unable to
him.
get the position.
Yeah. Yeah, staying around that outside is tough in the S section. Although,
ooh,
I was going to say he could have that inside. Oh, but through the S section here, Professional and Jose had a nice little section through there. Jose is now the lead Mercedes up to 6th.
Oh, an F1 nerd retired in the pits, so not in the incident, thankfully. But yeah, Remsley in the best spot with his DRS. I think he may continue to sit right behind Forzan. His tires in these last couple laps are probably going to be superior to Silent and Forzan's, and his ERS is going to be as well. So definitely, Forzan literally on 0 battery. So he's definitely in a good spot here, Remsley, I think, and he knows that. He sees that blinking light. And I think Remsley needs to stay in the moment, but I think he will already be seeing that back straight on lap 28 in his head right now.
That seems to be the place to do it, as Camden have a nice battle with these Mercedes, now this time with Jose.
Good racing right here.
Going to have the inside line. I love that little, we call that the snail section, most of us.
And he's able to get some good traction out from that inside line. Very tough to do. Now we'll see, can Jose get the switch back on him? But Camden takes a good defensive line. This is good racing between these 3. It's been like that all day.
And up front, Silent able to get past Remsley.
Okay.
He did that in that hairpin, probably.
And that's the danger of waiting for this. He's gonna have to use some of this battery to get into P3 again at some point. Before that back straight. That's the danger of waiting in 3rd. Silent also with good pace, and he definitely had the chance, but Silent, rough pace on the exit. And is he going to be able to come back on Remsley? Just a little too far back, but yeah, the straight line speed in those alphas is something to behold for sure.
Yeah,
and here we go, like last lap.
It's almost like they're kind of working together a little bit. Silent putting pressure on Remsley. We're on the final lap of the Grand Prix, 28 of 28. We've got a battle for the podium positions. Newton out in front, 7.5 seconds. He's been the class of the field today. And then we also have a nice battle here. And again, Camden, Professional. Camden now the inside line. He'll keep that. Oh, and who's this coming through? That's Lawrence.
Professional bumps the back of... And Lawrence will use that to get up to P7. But I got to keep my eyes on this Remsley-Forzan Silent battle. This is the crucial moment. How close can Remsley and Silent stay to the cars in front of them through this section? Remsley definitely going to have the battery advantage, but it's not unlimited here. He's going to be at around 15-16% when he gets through to this exit. He's in a good spot, though. If he can keep the grip down through the exit, he can't. A little bit of opposite lock. This should be close enough to make it happen, though.
You see the light blinking on the back of Forzan. And this should be it for Remsley. Can he get it done? He's going to have the DRS. He's going to go inside. Forzan will block inside. He'll go around the outside. And he comes back down the inside.
Oh, and I don't like...
We come to the line. Newton's going to win the Chinese Grand Prix. And the battle right behind them is Forzan, followed by Remsley with the questionable hairpin move. And this next group coming back here is Lawrence, getting this whole group, Professional, coming to the line. Oh, there's going to be contact and maybe a crash after the line. Whoa, and Godany Weeb gets a point there too. Somehow Lawrence was able to get past both Mercedes and Camden on that last lap to get himself P6. Remsley, not enough to get himself P2, but he does get that podium in the end.
Yeah, and Forzan, that's some good driving. Look, he kept it just on the fringe there where I think you could say, hey, he gave him just barely enough room to stay sort of on the track. Had to put a wheel off, but man, a little bit of Max Verstappen coming out there from Forzan, certainly there. But good driving. I thought he was in the mud for sure, but able to keep it in second, and well done to Forzan there. So a good race from Camden. He had a shot at P6, but I don't think he'll be too disappointed with P8. That's some good points for him.
No, I think he could be happy with that. I mean, he was battling, you know, the likes of Jose and Professional. He was there with Lawrence at the end, so.
500ths behind Jose, though. I didn't see exactly how that transpired, but very, very close at the line with him and Jose for sure.
Alright, so there are your results. Newton winning from pole position, almost the full sweep, but did not get that fastest lap. 2/10 shy. Bats Plus took that fastest lap down in 11th, so he won't get a point for that. But there's your podium. Newton, Forzan, Remsley will be hearing from them very soon, as some of them already joined. We'll get to them in a moment. Silent and B-Tom for that top 5 spot. And yeah, a couple DNFs of F1 Nerd, FND, and some guy. And next week, where are we, Zionicle?
Let me just check the schedule, because this week I don't actually know. We are in Brazil for the 3-tire special.
Oh, okay. So that is actually next week. And that's the 3-tire special. So we're going to start. I don't know if Remsley is able to join. He hasn't really been able to in interviews. So we're going to start with P2. And if Remsley joins, we'll go back to him. Forzan, able to, congratulations on P2. You were able to hold that off from Remsley in a nice last lap, almost defense in that hairpin. So you're able to keep that P2. Looked off the pace. It looked like Newton was the class of the field here today. But yeah, talk us through your race a little bit.
Oh, sorry, I had to unmute myself. Yeah, no, but I'm really happy with my pace considering I'm really not a fan of this track. Also, I literally woke up like 30 minutes before the race. Haven't touched F1 in 2 weeks. So yeah, no, I just did a usual proper TT setup and do like 5 laps before. So I'm I'm very happy with my pace considering I do think China is probably my weakest track and on the F1 games overall. And it's also a very big pad track. So Ryan was definitely faster than me today, but I do think it helped a little bit with him being on pad. Because China is known to be pad heaven. But
Yes.
yeah, no, I'm very happy with the P2 because I'm not sure how much I extended the lead by now, but I'm pretty sure I base it like as long as I don't lose any points to P2 in the championship, I'll basically secure the championship my next race. Oh wait, hold up, no. Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait for the the best 12 of 14, but yeah, it could be right on that. I'd have to double check the math and all that good stuff, but
Ain't nobody challenging me. No.
yeah, doesn't seem like it. Think you're looking good, champ. You're looking good. Yeah, Zargle, any questions?
Not really. I think it felt like a pretty straightforward race. I'd say, I guess, how worried were you that Remsley was going to be able to get you on that last hairpin? It looked awfully close. I definitely thought he had you, but that was good defense, I'd say.
I mean, the thing is, like, I was staying in front, and then Silent asked me to, once he got past Rems, to slow down and help him out a little with DRS, but, then Rems, I guess he had more battery than Silent, so he got back past, and let me tell you, I did actually get quite worried. I was like, oh, couldn't have done that. But, yeah, no. I'm usually quite confident on the brakes, so I was sure that as long as I would be able to be close enough, I would probably gonna be able to have a go at the hairpin again.
Yeah, he did have a slight advantage on the battery, and it was getting close to that crossover point with the mediums, I think, too. But yeah, it was definitely good braking there to save that P2 for sure. Good race.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, we'll move on to the man of the hour, Ryan Newton. Is this your first win in TCR? I believe it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, congratulations on that. I will PM you for all the details of this setup. No, I'm kidding. You look good out there. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you really had any complaints throughout the race, other than the sketchy lap when you stayed out an extra lap on the dry tires and were almost losing the car multiple times. So, so that might have been the only struggle part. But once you put the new tires on, you were able to use the gap. And yeah, I don't know how you did it, but you had definitely the speed over everybody. So yeah, talk us through a little bit.
Yeah, I think the pace was good. I think this helped out because, like Forson said, it's a pad track, so this is where like I'm supposed to be. I guess I'm supposed to be fast. But yeah, it was a good race. The setup was good stuff. Yeah, but I think staying out of the extra lap for the interior helped because I think some of the guys were struggling with like who went a bit early to the inter tire, like struggling with the wear because like a lap difference is like a lot on the inter tire. So but I think that helped me out a lot, and yeah, we were able to hold on to the win even after the safety car and stuff. So.
Sweet. And do you expect to reserve any more in the final few?
If I get a chance to, I probably will. Based off, I wanted to race this because it was China.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do like Brazil or something because I haven't done one of those 3-tire specials.
Yeah. No, those are
yet.
fun.
So yeah.
Cool. Well, congratulations. If you have any other comments, you can say them. Otherwise, Zionical, if you have any questions, you can go ahead.
No, I don't think I'd say too much. Just like very, very impressive pace. I think, it was clear you had the quali pace to get it done, but once we got into the race too, it was very, very obvious that you were looking a lot more stable out of the corners and very, very consistent, building up that gap the whole race. So, good race, man.
Yep, thank you.
Alright, so that's going to do it. We came back at a nice Grand Prix here in China. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you're rewatching this back, just don't forget to hit a like button. Share it out to those who might be interested. And tune in next week. Same time, same place. Round 12 for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Next week for Tuesday and Wednesday for the 3-tire special. Drivers are required to use all tire compounds in the race. That should be a good one. Usually is. We did that earlier on this season, and it was a good race. So yeah. Thank you, Zionicle, for joining me in the commentary booth. It's been a pleasure.
Of course. Same to you. Great race once again.
And yeah, for anybody looking to get more information on TCR, you can check the description. For more information, join our Discord where we are the most active. We have merch on the website, all of our statistics that got updated just a few weeks ago, applications. We have the Fanatec affiliation link if you're looking for gear on your setup. Other than that, it's been Zionicle in Seafreeze. It's been a pleasure, and thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a good night, everybody.